Hello, if you're new here, my name's Victoria. I'm home educating or homeschooling, whatever term, with 5 children aged from 1.5 to nearly 13. Apart from a brief spell at nursery, with home educating since the beginning. So I've been doing it many years now. I'm filming on my husband's tablet and I can see myself. It's really strange. So if I look kind of boz-eyed, it's very strange. I vlog and blog about home education, more personal and filtered home ed family life vlogs are now on Patreon, which I'll link below, and I've written 2 books on home education, which I'll link below as well. So today I just wanted to talk about ways you can make home educating or homeschooling easier. And the first one is, we talk about when you take a child out of school and when you first start home educating, we talk about deschooling the child and deschooling yourself. Like, I think it's 1 month for every year they've been in school is the general guide, where you've got to deschool yourself and think, you know, this doesn't have to be the way it is in school. But to make things easier, I think you've got to accept the fact that you're going to have to regularly deschool yourself. It's an ongoing process. It's not something that's going to be done straight away. I'm thoroughly invested in home educating now, and I still have moments where I have to deschool myself because I'm thinking, oh, am I doing it right? Why am I thinking this isn't right? Is it because they do it different in school? Yada yada yada. So, pardon me. So then the reason you have to regularly deschool yourself is, one, it gives you confidence in what you're doing, and it reminds you that you don't have to do it like school. It reminds you that the school system was not set up, and this is fact, the school system was set up to create obedient factory workers. It was not set up to encourage and nurture the way that children learn best and children learn naturally. So that outdated school system is not going to work in your home if you try and replicate it. And the other thing that deschooling does is it reminds you that school doesn't have to look like it does at school. Learning doesn't have to look like it does at school, sorry. And the fact that if you are home educating, these targets and guidelines of where children should be academically, which are all made up, by the way, are just, they're not relevant. They're for the school system, they're not relevant. If your child's massively academically gifted or practically gifted, they've got the space and the time to run off with that. If they need a bit more time to process things, that's what home education's for. They don't have to be on track with what the schools would be. So it's same as with a car. Every now and again with a car you need to MOT it, valid it. Sorry, I can't speak today. Valid it. It's the same for home education. Give yourself a regular deschooling session where you just remind yourself why you're doing it. Remind yourself why you're doing it different to the school works, and remind yourself of your child and why this X, Y, and Z suits your child. I've got to do it in spades, hang on. Sorry, I said the baby's asleep next to me and all the other kids are playing in the garden and the husband's watching them, and I says I'll just be 10 minutes, I'm just filming a video, just let me get on with it. Whatever, man, the dog up here. Right, so another way you can make it easy for yourself is get your head around the fact you don't have to spend lots of money. It's easy done, especially when you're first starting and you're keen and you think we need this, this and this. The fact of the matter is, a lot of it you don't need. And the stuff you do need, you can access for free or second hand if you want. And they don't have to be doing everything. It's better to do 1 or 2 things, as in clubs or, you know, subscription boxes. You don't need subscription boxes, but if you want to do that, it's better they have 1 or 2 that they really, really like and they monumentally get a lot out of, than you just throwing money at stuff that they're not interested in or they're not really benefiting from. So as long as you're confident in the fact that you don't have to spend stupid money. That's just going to make things a lot easier for you, because one, you're not going to be worrying about finances. Can we do this? Can we afford this? You're also going to be a lot less bogged down because you're not buying all this crap that you don't need. That's all I got to say on that one. Charity shops for books, you know, supermarkets and pound shops for exercise books and what they're called, workbooks. You can get paper relatively cheap. You don't need to be spending a lot of money. And some of these subscription boxes are alright. Like, I tried out a Mud and Bloom one for my channel, which was really good. But some of them, they're honestly not worth it. You can source them things cheaper yourself, like the cooking ones. So you don't have to spend a lot of money. And the other thing that can make it easier for you is, now this might be a bit controversial, you shouldn't be working harder at home education than your children are. That's not what I'm not saying. Don't put your all into it. If you're home educating your children, it's now your life. You put your all into it, there's no point in doing it. What I mean is, there's no point in sourcing all the things, printing all the things, setting up all the things, trying to do Pinterest worthy projects every single day, you know, trying to do Pinterest worthy science every single day, and the kids aren't into it, and you're just setting all this stuff out and they don't really care, and they just sort of and go again, and you have to clean it up. That's not what home education's about, and nobody's going to benefit from that, and you're just going to end up getting yourself burnt out. You have to pace yourself. You have to pace yourself. This is a lifestyle. Remember, you're not going to clock on at 9 and clock off at 3 like teachers are. And if you're going hell for leather all the time, and half the things you're doing the kids aren't even appreciating because they're just not into it, or they have this all the time from you, so that they're taking it for granted. You're going to burn yourself out. You're going to feel unappreciated. They're going to stop taking notice. You shouldn't be working at home education more than they are. And you can take that how you want, but that's my advice. I don't plan things stupid far ahead, because I know that my kids could just go whoop and go off at any time and go on to something else. And that is a benefit of learning, because they call it the home ed rabbit hole. You're looking at something and it leads you on to something else, and leads you on to something else, leads you on to something else, and you follow that path of curiosity. But it's say like I'm trying to think. Say we was watching, I don't know. I need to think these things through before I do a video. Say I'd planned something and a whole topic, but the first part of that topic sent them off on something else, which is just as beneficial, but it means there's all this topic that I'd planned and put effort into and sourced, and they don't want to do it because they've gone off the other way. Either way, I'm going to feel pissed off, but I'm either going to have all these resources that are just not going to get used, or I'm going to be like, hang on a minute, come back from this, you know, very creative educational train of thought, and come back to this I'm trying to show you. And I've created myself all that work and made it harder for me for no reason. Go with the flow. Don't burn your sen out. That's what I'm saying. That makes sense. Right, and the last one is, to make home education easier, put your priorities straight. And you might have to keep reminding yourself of this one, like you will with the deschooling. It doesn't matter what the next door neighbour's doing at school. If it's you know, more advanced than what you're doing, if you think, oh, they've been on this trip which I know better afford or whatever, it doesn't matter what the naysayers say when you go into the shop and they're like, oh, I knew so and so was homeschooled and he turned out to be a homicidal maniac. He needs to go to school. It doesn't matter how you think that the outcome is going to look on you. It's very easy to think, when everybody's judging you and telling you you're doing wrong and you're doing something different to everybody else, and you don't actually know 100% you're doing the right thing until Judgment Day when they're grown up. Did I do a good job or not? Are they a successful, and I mean successful as in happy functioning adult, or was it a total disaster? You don't know until that happens. So there's no point in thinking now, oh, if little Jonty doesn't get maths now at age 7, how is that going to look on me? How's that going to look on me when we go in the street and people quiz him and he doesn't know his sums? It's going to look like I'm a bad teacher and I'm a bad homeschool mum. Or what if he grows up and he still doesn't get algebra, and that's going to look like I did a rubbish job? And what if he marries some girl called Delilah who turns around and says, I don't want her near my grandchildren because she did a rubbish job bringing him up because he can't do algebra? And I'm not taking the mick. You can catch yourself thinking things like that, especially when people are judging you all the time. But you've got to let that go. If you're thinking, he's got to get this because I'm going to look bad if he doesn't, that's the wrong priority. He will get it when he is able to get it, and if he's never able to get it, that's not his talent and it's something else will be. So you just got to remember, it's about home education is a lifestyle and it affects the whole family. I would never say it's purely for the child, like it only works if it works for the child. It's got to work for the whole family in my view. That's not everybody's view, but it's mine, because it is your life. But the actual education is, and the way you do things and how things turn out is for the child's benefit. It's not for yours. All 5 of my kids are different, and they're all into different things, and they all learn differently, and they're all at different levels with things. And I've had to learn to accept that. I'm just there to facilitate and help and open those doors for them. They're their own people, and it doesn't reflect badly on me. And even if it does, so what will the people think? As long as I know and they know that I've given them the best education I can, that's all that matters. So there's some tips, my loves, to make home education a bit easier. I hope it was a helpful video. I'll see you next time. Look at my links below. Can't turn this off.